welcome to Eclectic Book Diary. Today's video is going to be a review of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first book of the Stormlight Archive series. This series also happened to be in the Cosmere universe, which has so many other books and series related to it. Let's start first with a thorough but non-spoilery synopsis, or I hope it wouldn't be that spoilery. The story is set in the realm of Roshar, where magic happens to be based on gemstones that glow with light after a reoccurring and powerful storms known as high storms. These gemstones are usually used in so many things. However, for magical purposes, a priest/wizard can usually draw the stormlight energy from these gemstones and fuel magic talismans with it. And once they do that, they can actually transform matter into different forms. This whole process is called soul casting, and it's usually preserved for the nobility only. The nobility itself in this world is based on eye color, with the light-colored eyes being the nobility and people who have darker eye color considered lower class citizens. And the purest form of this royalty is actually people with blue eyes, since they are associated with the knight Radiance, who supposedly used to have glowing eyes. Now, the Knights Radiance, commonly known as Radiants, were a military organization of 10 consecrated orders centered at Roshar. The common belief is that they betrayed mankind, and they are now referred to as Lost Radiants. And according to legend, the Knights Radiant were the first to carry the Shardblades, which are very powerful weapons capable of slicing rock and severing souls. The story in general is represented by multiple points of view, mainly Kaladin, Shallan, and Dalinar. We also have other characters such as Seth, who happens to be a Chin man casted away from his family and condemned to obey his ever-changing masters. I personally consider him the opening act for this book, as the first chapter starts with him being sent to assassinate the king of Alithakar, which is one of the most powerful nations in the world. And then we meet Kaladin, who happens to be enslaved under unknown circumstances. As the story progresses, he is forced to work in the army as a bridgeman. Also, on the other hand, we have Shallan, who is a young woman who is trying to become an apprentice for Jasnah Kholin, who happened to be a very interesting character in this book. But Shallan actually has a kind of shady motive behind her desire to become Jasnah's apprentice. Apparently, her family is in trouble, and in an attempt to help them, she just wants to steal something very important from Shallan, which is actually a soul caster. And then we have sections in the book that are related to Bright Lord Dalinar. This side of the story seems to show us more about the political aspects of things, at least in my opinion, but also it handles what seems to be a transformative period for Dalinar himself. Now, truthfully, I think all the main characters have in some way or another a transformative, ever-evolving journey. And you can see that this book is both character-driven and plot-driven. There are some amazing character work, but also really intricate plot lines that are kind of being woven from the beginning throughout the end, leaving you actually with so much excitement for what to come afterwards as well. So basically it is laid upon a more of a slow burning process. However, there seems to be so many foreshadowing moments that becomes clearly relevant as the story progresses. However, I have no doubt that whatever remained unclear for this first book is going to have significant meaning for the upcoming books. Nonetheless, as I said, the story relies heavily on building up the world, specifically in the first half of the book. It's almost deliberately designed to leave you with so many questions and then just shocking you at the last section of this book. There are also a bunch of interludes that at first glance, to be honest, they do seem unnecessary. However, upon a recent re-evaluation, I feel like I kind of liked them. Yes, it felt a little bit excessive at some points, but honestly, I don't feel like I minded anymore. At the end, it feels like you have been given a chance to interact more with this world. And generally speaking, if you end up enjoying the overall universe of this story, you would want to soak up every potential detail that were offered to you. I can see how this could be perceived as excessive or overwritten, but again, I would argue that that is still okay as long as you are enjoying the story. I also think that the writing style actually helps in this situation. For me personally, if this was a prose heavy type of a writing style, I would probably not enjoy it as much, or not enjoy these quote-unquote excessive infos or excessive details. I might have been less enthusiastic about them. Not to say that I don't enjoy flowery writing, because I do, but it does depend on the genre that I'm reading. For me personally, for fantasy stories, I totally prefer simpler styles over complicated, prose-heavy type of a writing style. And as I said in the beginning, even though the progression seems to be slow to medium paced for the most part, by the last 200 to 300 pages, everything explodes. The events start to connect, and some major ideas finally take a more understandable form, and I just loved it. I honestly can't wait to continue on with this series. I have planned to read the second book in this series this month. We are in the month of May, but it seems like it's gonna be a hard thing to achieve this month. However, I'm gonna try my best. If I can, then that would be great. If I just ended up only starting it in this month, that will still be good. I don't want to pressure myself too much. However, I'm still very, very excited to continue on this journey, and also possibly in the future to read more from Brandon Sanderson. At the end, overall, I really loved and appreciated every second of this book, even though it seemed, as I said, a little bit overwritten in some points. However, I would say the majority of the details in here are super interesting, to the point that I just personally feel like I can't get enough and I want to know more and more, and I will take any extra detail at any point just to continue being in the same world, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that was my review for The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you find this type of content interesting, feel free to subscribe, and I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening whenever you're watching this, and I also hope you will join me on the next one. Until then, take care. Bye bye.